live over here. Welcome to a the beginning of a brand new show called.
The Archives.
That's right. We are the Archives. We are going to be following the tales of the group of the archivists as we go along on our journey. And for our first show, we're not usually going to be on Mondays because Mondays is usually going to be our Disasters and Dangers show. But for this first show, we are kind of doing a retrospective and we're going back through the year of 20. Okay, we're not going through the year of 2020. But we are going through the last year of the adventures of the archivist. So if you wanted to start watching, let's say next Monday on our new show, you'd be caught up. You'd know kind of where we are and what we're doing. And so wanted to say welcome and let's get started. Just a few introductions. I am Eric in the show. I play Sir Rock, the Horizon Walker, Eric Hawker Ranger. Megan.
I'm Megan. In the show, I play Sarai Lander, the Eladrin Glamour Bard.
Boop-a-doo. We're gonna move that over here. I'm just switching everything up over here. Nice. So, um, any announcements you'd like to say first?
Hope everybody's having a great 2021 so far. We're really excited for the new year coming up with new shows and some new games for you guys. Also, if any of you got like some extra cash for the holidays, remember to go to Norse Foundry and use our
Yes.
promo code REPRPG for an extra, like 10% off your order. They
Oh,
do
yeah.
beautiful metal dice. They do amazing boxes, like this really gorgeous one that I was gifted for
Ooh,
the holidays.
that
It's a
is
little
fantastic.
leather book with what I'm assuming is the gold nightmare dragon from my chess set.
I can only assume.
So, or sorry, it was upside down. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're absolutely wonderful. They're also doing a giveaway right now. So
They are?
yeah, it's like
Ooh.
10 metal dice sets. If you follow them on certain platforms, check them out. Check out their website, norsefoundry.com.
All right, we're gonna need
While
to
you're
take a
there,
quick
get yourself
five
some
minute
dice
break.
because you deserve it.
We're gonna need to take a quick 5 minute break as I follow them on all social media
We do it.
platforms.
We do it at break.
All right. Um, yeah, so we're here. This is nice. Um, and so as I said, we are going to go over the story so far as best the two of us can remember it. Know that we have spent tireless hours going over all of our notes and materials and putting it into a concise and accurate time frame, step by step. You won't have to worry about us backtracking, forgetting names. Like, this is a detail oriented I'm just messing with you guys. We've done not a whole lot of that. We planned on it, like utterly planned on it, and then apparently work and life happen. So, the one thing that I did do is a lovely representation of the map that we have here, done by my fiance Sydney. She did a fantastic job, and we'll be using this to kind of point like, well, we started here, then we went here, and then blah 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 all over the place.
It is a really excellent map. So
Yeah, she did just a fantastic job. Chaos is kind of our
so,
brand, yeah.
huh?
Cole just wrote in the chat, chaos is kind of our brand.
I mean, oh, sorry, it's 15%. It's not 20. It's 50 or 10. It's 15%.
15. Yep.
It's even more reason. Go or no, stay, but open up a separate tab for Norse Foundry.
Exactly. So yeah, we are gonna start going over some things. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to throw them in the chat. If we can get to them, we will definitely get to them for you guys. And yeah, so let's start with some character introductions.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
of course. Um, so yeah, Sarai, Eladrin Glamour Bard. For those of you that don't know, Eladrin are a special type of fae. They tend to embody the 4 different seasons. They can normally they'll like stay in a season, but they have the ability to switch. And because it's me playing it and I'm extra. She switches as her moods do, and as the seasons, like on the equinoxes and stuff, she kind of doesn't have a choice. She's got to be where she is. But if she's sad, she's in winter. If she's feeling kind of playful, she's in spring. If Thozen's around, she's in summer. So, um, yeah. And when she's feeling matronly or just wants to bake a pie, I guess it's autumn. I don't know.
Well, I mean, since you brought him up, let's talk about Thozen.
Oh, let's
Our
do. It's like my favorite thing to do.
I'm sure. Thozen is our half orc, half tiefling forge cleric. He is, I mean, he's one of the biggest goddamn people in this party. Like, just like 8 feet. Like, I swear to God, he's
6'4".
okay. Yeah, but to Sirach, who's 5 foot nothing, like that is ridiculous.
He is a mountain. Yes.
Yes. Ah.
We have a giant in the party.
Yeah, we do. Um,
Um, yeah.
he is the biggest person in in the party. Yes, he is.
So
I
then I
mean,
think I think Treasure's just second.
I think Treasure is second. Yeah. Which of course brings us up to Treasure, which is our gold tiefling, or as we like to say, beefling, because she is strong. She is a fighter, and she does not roll ones or twos. Not in this house.
No, no, no.
No, no. We've recently learned that she is running away and hiding from a family engagement. So,
Right, we were introduced to her as Treasure Glitterhoof, but we've now discovered, dun dun dun, that
dun.
she's actually a Nightcrafter from, oh help me, Jalen Ursai, which those of you who watched last season will remember is one of the locations in the Arcadian Streets. It's the land of stories
Hmm.
that's run by the childlike emperor.
Oh man, I remember that Emperor. Rothgar had some weird times with that Emperor. Like
We
just,
all did, man.
yeah,
That entire every time you were at Jalen, it's like you want to do absinthe and trip with a 13-year-old. Let's goddamn do it. So
yeah.
man, I miss Jalen.
Maybe we'll find our way back. Um, but yeah, so that is Treasure, played by the wonderful Kezia Suarez. And like it is crazy, crazy good character. Very can be very. I was gonna say crass, but I think the correct word is blunt,
Yep,
and
she is
sometimes
not
a little
crass.
crass. I mean,
She is
it's
crass is a little tasteless.
yeah, okay, it's tasteless, but no, you know what? I think blunt is the right word for it. She's just
She's
straight to the
fun.
point. Oh, a hell of a lot of fun.
She's fun.
Yeah.
She's like if you put Blanche and um the mom together.
From Golden Girls. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
that's Treasure.
I see it. I see it. Um, and you know what? Since we're bringing up possible or soon-to-be couples, let's talk about Olaroon.
Oh my god, let's do.
Let's. Olaroon is played by our fantastic Cole. Um, and he is he half Asimir or is he whole Asimir?
All ASMR
All
all the time.
Asimir. According to Cole, specifically unapologetically black Asimir, he is our. He started out warlock
Oh,
and
Warlock
warlock
Paladin
pally
blend.
mix. Yeah, he's our pallock warlid warlidin pal.
Well,
I think
now he's just our Paladin.
now he's just paladin. Um, he's been on a very long goal to get his pact sword because he has a pact with a sentient weapon, which we will talk about these weapons because they are awesome weapons. Um, but we finally got the weapon, and so he is now full paladin of the sentient weapon.
And everything's fine and nothing happened.
Yeah, it's funny. I almost believe that. Um, he can at points grow out a set of wings and start flying, which is the first time that happened was absolutely bug nuts crazy, but it was great to see. And yeah, so who do we have next?
Uh, have you talked about Sirach any?
Oh no, no, I haven't. So yeah, there's Sirach, who is a Aarakocra. He is a bird person. He is a ranger, specifically Horizon Walker Ranger. Goes around and kind of bamps. He plays well in the astral planes, and he's. I don't think we've actually talked about what his kind of ongoing, like little story plot is. So,
Not really.
I mean, the only hints I've given is every time there's someone who's doing something like extra planar, he gets real into it and stuff.
Yeah,
But
but
that's about it. So yeah, I don't think we haven't quite gotten there. Um, but yeah, that's my character. He is fun, a little bit of a coward sometimes, but he comes through in a pinch.
all right, if you're gonna talk Tweety, we got to talk Sylvester.
We do then have to talk Sylvester. How many new things in D&D? I don't know. Look, we'll get there because we're gonna get over everything for you. So yeah, if we talk about Tweety, we got to talk about Sylvester. So Clever Stitch. Do you wanna do Matthew's character?
I do hard. So
Yeah, I was about to say don't tell anyone.
don't. So Matthew is playing Clever Stitch. He is, what the hell are they called?
Tabaxi.
Damn it! All I could think was Khajiit. Like that's not right. This is
He has
Skyrim. You don't want
wares.
coin. I mean, not more than usual. He's a Tabaxi
Snow leopard.
fighter. Yeah, because he's an arcane archer.
Hmm.
He's sort of patterned like a snow leopard. He does some insane things with his bow. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And if
Do
you knock him unconscious, he'll let you touch his toe beans.
I don't know if we know his if we've gotten to like what his goal is or if he's just kind of chilling or what.
He's here for money.
Well, that's
You know.
interesting because we've made none
That is not true. We have made plenty.
and
It's just
spent
in a
all of
joint
it.
bank account, which I don't recommend kids. But that's another story for another another episode.
Don't worry, we'll
Um,
have many episodes. Um, so yeah, that's math, and then of course, we cannot forget our resident elven rogue Talroth. You
yes,
know, played by Mars. Talroth is a bit of an ass, but in a lovable way. He's definitely there for the party, and he is he's been very good about not having sticky fingers, which is very tough for him. Um, but yeah, I think he's one. Damn, if he's not one of the best damage dealers we have, like with that sneak attack. I swear, rogue sneak attack. I know everyone says it, and it's a cliche at this point, but rogue sneak attack is broke. It
it
is
is. It's
so
wonderful,
broke.
and it surprises me every time
Oh, that's right. You had it with back.
with Maddie.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
Maddie. Yeah, no, it's broke. Um, but yeah,
yeah.
and so
But
that is.
if you want something, if you want stealth, if you want a lock picked, if you want a pocket picked, or if you just want someone shanked really hard, Talroth is definitely your guy.
Yes, no, Talroth is amazing, Kestrel. You are not wrong there. Also, we're not 100% sure he exists. With his,
He might be a delusion.
yeah, with his Cloak of Elven Kind and his plus 30 and then plus 30 stealth rolls, you're not even sure he was really there the whole time. Could have just been a figment of your own imagination.
Talroth might be the elvish word for, huh?
All right.
So,
And
so
so
yeah.
that's a quick introduction to the characters.
No, we are missing a Fable Frost,
Oh, jeez.
the,
Wow.
the cutest little snowbug in the world.
Indeed. Uh,
So Fable is an ice genasi. For those of you who don't know, genasi.
Je ne sais.
I speak all the time, regularly, to people. Genasi are they're sort of born of the elements.
Hmm.
Ice genasi are kind of a homebrew thing. because normally
Yep.
it's the four cardinal elements, but this is something a little special. And
Yep.
she's a phoenix soul sorcerer, so she's born with ice, but she does fire
Fire
magic.
magic.
So it does some really kind of intense, insane things to her body, to her look. Um, she's from the circus. Words are hard, Kestrel. Thank you. Thank
Yep.
you so much. But she's from the circus. She's a performer, and we believe that she is looking for the person who used to run her. You know what? I don't really know what her backstory is, and it's not my backstory to tell, because I don't think it's come up yet.
No, it hasn't. But it does, interestingly. She is the reason that Sirach is in the party.
Because they were. Well, you haven't been around in a little bit, Miss Fable, so also it's a little awkward just to walk up to someone that you work with and you're like, hey, other than money, why are you here? What's your deep-seated trauma that's making you traipse around the countryside and stab people with abandon? So, maybe we will have that
She
conversation
doesn't
next time I see
stab
you.
people with abandon. She gets drunk with her bird friend and then almost sets people on fire in a farm.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But yeah, she and Sirach Sirach wasn't in the circus, his parents were,
Correct. And
but he was around. They kind of like grew up together.
uh, yeah, he was there. I mean, he wasn't. He was there. Because Sirach's not that old either. So.
I forget you all are such babies.
Oh yeah. Well, Sirach is a super baby.
5?
Not like 5 or 6. Yeah. Because we only lived to like 30. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Just a little.
And then actually, we missed the most important member, the
Screamers.
mascot of the archivists,
Screamers.
Screevers,
Yes.
the crimson
Kobold.
kobold.
And we'll talk about Screamers when we get to the school and everything over at Dorian's Dawn. Speaking of, let's start out this campaign. Um, so we started out in because we have a map. Let's use it. We started out right here in this town called Dorian's Dawn, and it's the home of the school the university that we are actually working for. Um, it is the
The Magnus Arcanum.
thank you.
We work for a special department that is the Magnus Exploratorium.
Yes, and we are contracted out usually to help different research teams get to where they're trying to go. It can be dangerous around, and so they have us get them to different locations. And so, yeah, we all kind of got here. As I said, Sirach was brought in by Fable. She was like, hey, you might want to come over here. This is going to be fun. And so, oh,
Yeah, I think, and Saride got here because Stitch used to be her when she would play. Stitch was her security.
mm-hmm.
So she kind of heard about this from Fable and from Stitch. Thozen has a forge in town.
Because isn't he like an adjunct at the school?
Yes, he is,
Yes.
and he also has his own forge and his ex-wife and kid.
And I don't remember how Talroth and Treasure.
Talroth, Treasure, and Oleron all met up
Yeah,
traveling
that's right. That's right.
because Talroth actually had found a bounty for treasure. He didn't read; it was written in Infernal,
Yes.
because she is a tiefling. He didn't read it. The only thing he could make out was treasure. So um, he knew that he was looking for something big and gold, and then he found treasure and didn't put two and two together for a very long time. Oleron, I think, just sort of fell in with them because he's looking for his sword.
Yep. And so we all started out over at Dorian's Dawn, which is right here on the map. And the first thing we actually did was if I'm not mistaken, we were contracted to take a group out to the Patchstone Wastes, which is just down here to a tower. To a weird. They were going to explore the area because there are a bunch of like jutting up structures all over the place. They look almost natural, and so
Like the
this is
Grand
what.
Tetons, or any of you that play Warcraft. Tetons.
Grand.
The or any of you who play Warcraft, Thousand Needles before the Cataclysm.
Ah, yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I don't know that
So
one.
we went. We
Hmm.
discovered that the structures are actually
Well, before that,
for that.
one thing,
Oh, right. For that.
and Cody, our magnificent DM and also voice of Screamers, does at the beginning of every game is he tells us that we are in the continent of Lickdrocht. And this is a land of myth and legends. And the way that I've always remembered it is the fact that um, the word "the" has special meaning in this land, that there are definite articles. And so, one of those definite articles we actually met on our way over to the Patchstone Waste, which was the Spelljack. And so, this is literally the mythological character who I believe he said took magic from the like celestial beings and brought it down to people, like the humans, the elves, and ever like he dispensed magic to the mortals. And he is a mythological being known as the Spelljack. And so I know at one of the things we're going to be looking at talking about later is we're going to the forge, and so it's not just a forge that is really nice. It is the forge for which all other forges get their power, their essence, and it comes from this, we think. Um, and so yeah, go ahead. We're going to the Patchstone Wastes.
Ran into the Spelljack. Had a weird little interaction with him,
Mm-hmm.
like you do. And yeah, then we got to the Patchstone Waste. The little the Tetons were actually they were structures. They were man-made or possibly elven-made structures that had been stone shaped over by a civilization that existed there centuries maybe before. So we spent a good bit of time clearing that tower. Um,
Oh my God, I lost so much money filling in those. They had a trap for anyone who was on the bottom, and it would start like pushing in this poison. But if you put coins in, the coins would fill the holes and stop the poison slash acid from coming in. And then as the poison slash ashes, it would eat through the coins. So you kept having to put in coin. I lost so much money saving people.
yeah, it was like a very surreal vending machine where you just kept buying air.
um, we ran into a mimic also in there. I remember
Yes, y'all
that.
did. The
Hmm.
only time I've ever played a D&D game where there was a mimic and I wasn't on.
Oh no. But we did find something very fun for your character while we were in there. Do you want to talk about that?
What did I find?
A game.
This thing. Oh my! You said fun, and I'm like, I didn't sleep with those in the tower. So
Not while I was with him. Come on, how dare you?
yes. So the tower we discovered had been owned by a being whose name was Laura Shen,
Oh no,
and
I'm sorry, you don't have the entire thing
I can't
memorized.
remember all of his honorifics.
He was very specific about that. Get every one of the honorifics.
It wasn't like I don't know.
Nah,
So
no, it was
he
totally.
wasn't the Laura Shen. It was just
It was La Rochelle of this and that and this and that that.
first Sydney. I love you. So we we found this chess set, a dragon chess set, and I got very excited because I actually put that down as one of my proficiencies. Whoever gets your random gaming proficiencies used if you don't use poker? Am I right?
Pretty much.
Turns out it's a chess set with another being, and once you start the chess game, you're kind of locked in. So I've been playing chess now ever since the first game. Oh my god! I just realized My entire career with you guys, I've been playing. I've been playing chess.
Kez Treasure has used poker to
No,
one
that's what I'm
very
saying.
possible
Unless
effect.
it's poker, like
Yeah,
when do you ever use your gaming sets? No one ever uses dragon chess. You just
no.
put it on there to be like, yes, I grew up in a house with a fence. Like that's basically
Jesus Christ, yes, yes. We did have Kentucky bluegrass. Why do you ask?
exactly.
Not the music genre either. Um,
So so yeah, so I know offense, right? So I'm now embroiled in this chess game that is changing slightly into a different form of chess. We're not entirely sure who I'm playing against. Someone does know. He won't tell me. And
Screevers.
yeah, and yeah. But while we were there, we also met a new friend.
Bronda Frey. Yeah, Bronda Frey is. She was a. Uh, she's not a. She's a warf.
Gollum.
She's a golem. She's
Yeah,
based off of someone, right?
the actual Bronda Frey, who was
Yeah.
a servant in Lara Shen's tower.
Mm-hmm. And we kind of asked her if she wanted to come back with us, and she did. So we kind of brought her back with us when we left the tower. We left a group of students and professors at the towers to kind of continue um, locking down everything and going through the magic. We told them about the traps so they don't, die a horrible death. And then we headed back. Um, we also, as we were headed to there, we ran into a giant group of lizard folk that wear adamantine. Um, and there's some kind of adamantine cult that we know adamantine plays a big role. We're not 100% sure on it though, are we?
As far as I know, no.
Yeah, but like the fact that there are these lizard folk and they are wearing these like the people who are in charge are wearing these giant adamantine headdresses, and we know something to do with adamantine vis-a-vis the forge, and so there's a connection there. We haven't quite been able to kind of sandwich what's going on there, but we do know like there is that connection: adamantine, the forge, and these lizard folk who are kind of being used a little bit. um but we get back, we let Bronda Frey go with some of the professors in the college, and then what do we start working on after that?
And then we went to House Ilrin.
That's right. We went to House Ilrain, the terrifying shifting house. We broke into two groups. One was searching like the basement, and the other was searching up top. We found Talroth found some amazing swords, the blades of House Ilrain, um, the blades of the family, and we found a whole ghost scenario up top. Um,
Yeah, that corresponded with the undead nonsense that was in the basement.
Um, yeah, and so we took care of everything up top, and we
Yep.
found out that this house belonged to an old family that studied the different planes, and that very much interested Sirach.
They actually plane shifted. They were jumping the whole house itself
Yeah, the house was a
because
plane.
I think it had like Eldrin esque structure to it.
Hmm. It
But
had a
yeah, but
lot of structure. Like it had Eldrin, it had Elvin, it had like there were a lot of
Dwarvens and
yeah,
stuff.
there were a lot of different like aspects to this house, which is what made it so amazing and cool also.
And then after that, we got back to town,
Hmm.
and then we went up the mountain. There was a professor who had taken a group of graduate students.
Wait,
Yes,
was that not too different? Because we had the one person who took a group up the mountain and they got lost up the mountain, and then we had the other guy who went who took his group, and there was the undead, the well, and we went underwater.
That was House Rain was the undead
That
and the
was
well.
that was the undead in the well.
Yes,
Okay,
the other
so
one was also graduate student. Like this whole thing is
it's grad students
basically
all
they
over the place.
hire Magnus Arcanum or an Exploratorium. They hire adventurers to escort graduate students as they Indiana Jones their way through Lickdrocht.
Oh, yeah. And what was that one creature at House O'Rain that Fable found that she fell in love with?
The unicorn.
Mm-hmm. What happened to
She
it?
found a tiny unicorn, I think, and it went back to where it came from.
Oh, okay, it went on its own.
Yes, because it hasn't come up since, and she doesn't ride it into battle. So, and you know he would still be around if he was still around.
Oh my god, I'd love to see Fable Frost riding into battle on the back of a unicorn.
A baby unicorn. I have a feeling he was like chubby too.
Yeah, a little diaper just on there.
Kez, please draw it.
I know you're probably busy, but all right. So yeah, we went up this mountain. And there were these weird lights coming out, but it was actually we were assuming that it might have been something that was on the mountain face, um, but it was coming from deep inside fissures in the mountain. This bright white light was coming out, and so yeah.
We traveled inside, fought numerous pieces of nonsense, Grell and
Oh my god,
etc. And
so many things.
giants. There were some giants
There was
inside. It was pretty gross. But we excuse me, we managed to survive, and we spoke to the mountain itself.
yeah, it
That's
was
what
like the
was
Lord of the Mount, like the Lord of the Under, or something like that.
the Lord. Yeah, and that's what
Again,
was shining.
yeah, because there was a
Was
bunch of what was in there at the end, like in that final room. Because I
it
remember there
was
was like spellcasters that we fought.
yeah, there were spellcasters and some. It's where they were laying like stone giants.
Hmm.
It was a stone giant burial room, and but there was molten adamantine flowing
All
like a
over the
river,
place.
just all over the place. So he granted each of us a question um, that we got answered privately through Cody, and we got to dip something in adamantine, a weapon or whatever.
Indeed, we did.
And
So,
then we went home.
and then we did go home. That's right. Sirach has an adamantine short sword that he never uses. Um, and so yeah, then we came back home, and it's when we came back home after going to the scales here, after going to House O'Rain, we came back home, and we had we found out there was something was up. Something wasn't quite right. Um,
Adventuring parties were going missing. We were the first one that had returned
in a while.
in a long time. And the head of the school,
Dr. Dre. Yeah,
legitimately, Dr.
yeah.
Dre,
Well, I think it's Professor Dre, but I prefer Doctor. I feel
hey,
he works for the title. He should be able to
yeah,
use it.
exactly. Screw you, you asshole. Not you. You know who you are. A doctorate is a doctorate. He's a doctor. So Dr.
Exactly.
Dre sort of
Um,
put the school on lockdown.
yeah, he went to our buddy Alvaro, who is kind of the head of this section of the school.
Not a buddy. He is nice to us, but I would not call him a buddy.
I mean, he's at least a buddy to Oliver. They spent a bunch of time together.
That is a really listen. I love Olarin, but that's like saying you're friends with your waffle maker. Like Olarin is not. I love him, but he is not the warmest creature in the world. And just because he spends a lot of time talking with people doesn't make them friends.
um,
Cole's gonna be so mad at me.
yeah, he is. Speaking of Alvaro and Olaroon, let's bring up something else that's big in this land, and that is these weapons called the Arms of the Fated. Now these arms of the rage, these arms of the fated have names such as Dawnbringer, Glory Maker. What are the axes?
The axes were something with fire.
Oh gosh. But and again, in much the way that the Spelljack is the one who took spells and magic from the higher beings and gave it to the mortal beings, in that same the Bloodburner. Thank you, Cole. In that same way, these arms of the fated are kind of do what they're named. For instance, Glory Maker is it's like a pike almost, right? Like a long
Glaive.
spear, a
It's a
glaive.
glaive.
Thank you. It's a glaive, and it brings glory to those who wield it. That's how Alvaro kind of got like his huge like who he is because he used that weapon during a big cataclysmic event called the March of Glaives. Um, we have one of those weapons is Dawnbringer, which Olaroon is quested to get by the sword itself, and it shines bright. It brings dawn. Bloodburner. I'm not going to go into it. Uh, it cooks steaks real well. But so those are big weapons. So we went back and we went to our Alvaro, who is a one of our contacts in the school, and he kind of set us up to figure out what is going on because he didn't know and no one in the school could figure out how everyone was figuring out what was happening, where all the different adventure groups were going, and so we kind of took that on as our mission. Um, I don't think
We
there was.
knew that he had a feeling that there was a mole in the school who
Mm-hmm.
is selling information or just giving information about who was going where, and artifacts had gone missing. So he sort of tasked us with as low key as we possibly could.
Yeah, us low key.
Pause for sad trombone sound to figure out what exactly was going on.
And I think we can all agree that we went and did just that without any problems or delays or issues at all.
Actually, yeah, it wasn't that bad. So um, okay, we went over this timeline.
We did go over this timeline.
The battle happened first.
Yes. So
Yes, yes, it did because it happened that when we had the conversation with Alvaro
yeah.
that
So
something was
we
happening.
so we kind of got word of a that there were we asked if there was like some strange characters that had been around recently that hadn't been around before, and they had said that there was this bard who had come around and been playing on. No.
Yeah, that's me being like, there was a bard in my town. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a bard going around, and he was playing on campus. What's her face didn't like him at all. Um, the head of necromancy, because she doesn't like music on the school. She doesn't like frivolity on the school grounds or something like that. Or was that someone else?
No, it wasn't. It
It was one of the
Stitch found
teachers.
him. Stitch found him playing
Mm-hmm.
and knew that he was casting magic because he cast invisibility or possibly polymorph or something on one of his compatriots, on the ogre ranger,
Mm-hmm.
and he disappeared into the crowd. So we knew that there was another magic using bard, and that the gentleman that he had helped escape had recently ransacked one of the professor's offices.
So we knew something was going out. So we did the only thing that we could possibly do to lure out a bard, and that was to perform a battle of the bands. Well, bards.
Yeah, so it happened.
He came out,
His name is Star Song.
that dick. Like, I mean, like, look, forget everything else. Star Song, I mean, that's a bit. I mean, he's just you're a little bit full of yourself at that point, right?
I mean, oh man, I want to shave his head so badly. Whew. So this thing, well, he didn't win either. So
No, he
I'm
did
at least
not.
like I lost, but so did he. That's fine. Um, we followed him and his group,
Into the
chatted with them a little
sewers.
bit. Hmm?
We went into the yeah, that's right. I went up and talked with him, didn't I?
Yeah, you talked to them. We talked
That
to them
was
for a little
smart.
bit, and then we followed them where they were going. They went into the sewers under the school, which is a totally kosher, normal thing to do.
That's what I would
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. We followed them down. We sort of lost their tracks. We fought an otiug, which is
Oh, the Utyug. Oh my
yeah,
god.
they're creatures that live in refuse.
They're poop
Um,
monsters. If you've ever seen the movie Dogma and it's the deleted poop monster scene, that's what this was.
that's deleted.
It's not like, let me put it this way, they don't put it in the Comedy Central rebroadcast when they play it.
The Golgotha monster? Oh my
Yeah,
god, calm down, people.
all I know is like I've watched Dogma like 100 times on TV, and then someone was like, "Hey, you want to watch Dogma?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so we put it in. We're watching it, and suddenly there's this poop monster, and I'm just like, "What is happening here?"
We're all gonna pretend like this is normal now? Okay.
like like I'm sitting here. I've watched every freaking Kevin Smith movie, and I'm just like, okay, so I've seen Chasing Amy and everything in there, but we're just not talking about this right now. Like, we just watched Mallrats, and this is okay. Like, we're just not going to talk about this scene that's nowhere else. And that's when I found
Uh,
out they just don't show it on Comedy Central.
okay, that. All right, that's fair. That's fine. OTUGs are actually kind of useful because they do eat refuse and dead bodies. So they're like giant raccoons that will kill you, but they also
Raccoons.
help sort of keep the trash down a little bit. So, if you ever see one in the wild, just sidestep it, but don't but let it go because it's probably helping out your ecosystem a little bit.
Unless
The
it tries
more
to
you
start
know.
killing you, and then which case you should probably take
Kill
it
it right
down.
back.
Which we did.
Um,
And
we
you
did.
actually went down in that fight, didn't you?
I did. I also went down during the tower fight, um, like the devil dog fight before that. I went down. I technically went unconscious during the elevator ride in the tower.
Yeah. Um, and that's low level bards for you, you know?
Who refused to wear armor. So uh,
Just
so now that we knew where they were hiding, we did some Volton. That's his name. We did some
digging.
digging, and we discovered that Starsong and his group were the people that had been attacking the other adventuring parties. Quick, who was the bartender at the local bar, that
Hourglass
hey, just me,
Tavern.
Jude. Welcome to the insanity. Ha 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 ha.
Who's here? What?
We just got a new friend.
We did? It didn't show up on mine. Oh, we did! Just me, Jude! Hello! Subscribe for 23 months. That is a hell of a streak.
Together at Christmas. Okay, so no, just me.
Yeah,
That's fine.
no, you weren't singing for half of it. I didn't hear.
That's okay. I totally forgot. Not
All
not
I
the
heard
point.
was
So
Christmas, and I'm just not a. I don't know many things yet. I'm still learning.
that's okay. So we
Just
oh shit, what was I saying? Nothing important, I'm sure.
so we did digging. We found out that Starsong and his group was probably who were attacking the other groups.
We found that they were going to be moving some goods, some stolen artifacts, um, from the docks, and we managed to get ourselves on the crew, which was being run by two members of Starsong's group,
Otto Weird Bottle.
Otto Weird Bottle, the gnome
No, Otto Odd
alchemist.
Bottle. Sorry, not Weird Bottle. Otto
Otto
Odd
Odd
Bottle.
Bottle?
Was it
Are you
Odd
sure?
Bottle or Weird Bottle?
I think it's Weird Bottle.
Otto Weird Bottle.
I don't know.
Meh.
Because he's a psychopath and he's going to be dead soon, so it really doesn't matter.
You know.
He will be last of his line.
Oh,
Weird
it
Bottle.
is Weird
Thank you.
Bottle.
That's what I
Thank you,
thought.
Kat. I
Okay.
was like,
Odd Odd Bottle just sounds terrible. Not that Weird Bottle sounds
I was
either.
like,
Not the point. So, Oddle and one of their fighters, I think the dwarven woman fighter, was also
mm-hmm.
running the show for that. We was Saride, Sirach, Treasure, and Talroth. They split us up into 4 different canoes. We had equipment with us, and or actually no, it was two to each, because one of us had Otto, the other one had the girl.
Yep.
But they doused us in this chemical, and if we didn't get the antidote from Otto, it would start to eat through our clothes,
And then us.
and then us.
Yeah.
Also, the roustabouts, the derelict, and the homeless that they had hired to help load the boats. They tossed coins out to them as the people started grabbing at the money. The money had been coated in this acid, and they started burning. They ran into the river to get it off of them, and it just
Made it worse.
made it worse because Otto just stood there on the bow of the boat, just watching.
Yeah, he was real happy about his invention. And so yeah, we got coated in this stuff, and basically he had a neutralizing agent that we had to put on every couple of hours, that he would hand out to us, and if we didn't, it would burn through us. And so we were kind of stuck. But
But
we made small talk really nicely,
yeah, Sarai's really good friends with him now. We convinced them not to kill us at the end.
which was surprise. Like the dwarf lady found that very surprising.
Otto doesn't like anybody,
But he actually paid us. He actually paid us the money.
and gave us the neutralizer so that we could handle it.
hmm and that was, we actually went from Dorian's Dawn all the way over here to Nicobaris, which is the port town, which is where they have a port that goes up to, where does it go up to?
Nova Brectus.
Does it go up to Nova Brectus, or does it go back all the way up to like the first campaign?
First campaign's a different continent.
Yeah, I thought this. Well, we're all from like we're that's where this whole like Dorian's Dawn is a settlement of that continent.
Nope, this is a
Nope.
different continent. We were in Europe before, we're in America now.
I I thought we were still. I thought that was the whole thing. Is they were sending back black. They were sending back stuff to the. I'm confused. I thought they were sending up old artifacts back to, essentially they were sending like Native American artifacts, and they were sending it back to Europe. That's what I understood from this.
And Europe is what in this scenario?
Uh, What was the name of where
Rotom.
Rotom? Yeah, they're sending, so they're taking like the artifacts that are from the native artifacts, because we found a lot of the cat god stuff also in their stuff, and they're sending it back to Rotom.
But that's a different continent.
Yes.
They're not attached.
No. I just
Okay.
meant like they're in Nicobaris, which is a port city, which is where all the stuff is getting loaded, and they're going out to Rotom.
Out, yes, not
Yeah.
up. It looked like you were like, go up the river
No, no,
and
no.
it'll
Like,
take you
no, just
out, yes.
yeah,
Out,
out.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. My bad. Yeah.
Also, there's a thing with Lickdrocht that they don't really have gods here. They're not real big. I mean, they like you have your own, but there wasn't a unifying religion like there was for Rotom.
hmm
Um, yeah,
And so that it and yeah, so they've been exporting materials up and out, and I think my little head canon, because I don't think we ever got it figured out, is it's like some sort of weird collector slash museum curator slash sort of stuff. I don't know if we ever got it figured out like who it was going to. And so that's just my headcanon. Think of it like the British Museum, like, oh yes, we have all of these things. How did you get them? We have all of these things.
We do know who is taking them, and I think we have an idea of what's happening, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
So after
So we are given a warning by Otto Weirdbottle that we are now that we're here in Nicobaris, we are not to return to Dorian's Dawn upon threat of death.
which we do anyway, because all of my clothes were there. Once we get there, I remember we tried to disguise Treasure.
I did a good job. I did really good with because I have proficiency in disguise kits, and so I disguised Treasure. I disguised Talroth. I think you disguised yourself, and then I went to disguise me. But I found out that when you're disguising other people, it is sleight of hand. When you are disguising yourself, it is charisma, which I have a -1 in. So I just covered myself in like I just pretended to be a raven, and I was just pretending to be a kenku at that point, and I was just spouting off words that other people said. It was not a terribly good disguise, but it's what I went with at the time.
It got the job done.
Yes.
We got word that they were having one last push to
Mm-hmm.
get stuff removed in the sewers again. So we went to go fight them. This is Star Song and
Yep.
Audle. We thought Audle and all of the rest of them. When we got there, it was just. I love how I say just like they didn't wreck our lives.
Oh my God,
Um,
no! Kicked our goddamn asses in.
Star Song, an Ogre Ranger, and I can't remember the other guy.
Was it a rogue? I don't remember what the other one was either, because I remember we got one of them and then they started running away.
Mm-hmm. And Otto kept casting invisibility, and it was this whole
Yeah,
thing.
like it was a battle. We were like we were tilted, and like afterwards we were a little bit tilted. Like that was a battle and a half. It went so that looked like we could take him at first, and then they started getting the upper hand. We took down one of them, and then when we took down one of them, Star Song and someone else began to run away. And honestly, we should have not given chase. We were in tough straits, but I think I know Sirach did, and a couple other we went and we went over and actually I think I got Star Song down with a couple of arrows, and then some other people came in and we got him down, and one of them escaped, but we got two of them down. But we were just wrecked.
The Ranger got away because we really wanted to steal his arrow
His bow that I'd
or
never be able to
his
use.
bow. We really wanted to steal his weapon, but man, there was nothing better than Star Song going down. Boy howdy, Talroth stole his clothes.
That's right.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really great moment. Um, but not easily won.
No.
Um,
And
and actually, I messed when we were discussing it earlier. I did mess this up. We took a rest because we were still waiting to see who the leak was from the school.
mm-hmm.
So while we were resting with the equipment, um, the if any of you can remember what her name is, I am so sorry. The necromancy teacher, who is a halfling. She floats. We call her Baby Morticia. She's absolutely just sexy as
She
hell.
she inverts birds.
We all have things. It's fine.
I mean, granted, it's an undead bird and it's used for a key, but still, just doesn't sit right.
She
It's
uses
not
every
like
part of the
it's.
bird.
See, the problem is I've been watching a lot of Star Trek, and there's an Admiral Vance in Star Trek right now, and I keep wanting to say Vance, and I'm like, that can't be right because that's the Admiral in Star Trek.
It's it's gonna get said, and I'm gonna go, oh fuck, of course. So anyway, she showed up, and we all got a little huh, who, huh, huh. Um, while she was down there, she wasn't the leak.
No.
Someone had lured her down there with us, and we realized that the entire sewer was coated in some of Otto's nonsense. No, that sounds like semen. One of his uh, explosive concoctions. That also sounds
That
like him.
also sounds like semen.
There was some stuff on the walls
Oh well,
and
that's not any better.
that we realized was essentially like napalm. And the minute and that we were fucked. So we started um, running out of there as fast as we possibly could. We barely made it out. It was that was a rough little run.
Hmm.
And when we surfaced from the burning sewer, by the way, we discovered that this main professor office and dorm building was on fire, and it was actually the dorm that held Professor Volton. And that's how we figured out that Volton was the one who was sort of the ringleader behind
He was, if I'm not
all of
mistaken,
this.
the professor of antiquities.
Yes,
Yeah, and so that should have all. Yeah.
yes. We Some people went into the wreckage to try to find any survivors or anything in Volton's office that we could. They did find Volton's body and brought it out because we remembered, oh yeah, we know the necromancy teacher. She can just, I don't know, bring him back, which Olerin was super okay with.
Yeah, he was so fine with that idea.
And we we kind of started just we got out of town. Oh no, because I was like, we can chase them. My dumbass thought we could track them. We couldn't.
Nope.
But whilst we were trying to track Star Song, or not Star Song, but
The group.
everyone,
Yeah.
we talking to the dead body of Volton, found out that it actually wasn't Volton. It was a man who had a sick daughter, and he had been paid off by someone with a lot of money to basically sit in an office and get exploded, and they would send money to his family so that his daughter would be taken care of.
Hmm.
So Volton was out when they did a survey of the wreckage of the sewer. All of the bodies were missing from there as well. So we were we were pretty well told that Star Song and everybody else has been
Resurrected.
resurrected, which is fine when we do it. It's not fine when other people do it. Can I just
Like
say, rude?
it's like when you're in a Pokemon battle and you've used like 6 full restores, and then the gym leader uses one, and you're like, "Hey, whoa, 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 hey, whoa."
I think my least favorite thing in video games, it's not friendly fire, it's when they get health potions.
Yeah.
Fuck off. What are you talking about? I have the monopoly on the red stuff. You just no, no, no.
You get 1 health bar and that's it. You can't have equipment. What's this?
That's it. That's it. Sometimes you get a shield bar. I can't stop that, so you definitely don't get multiple health bars. No, no, no. So with our good name cleared and the necromancy's name and Alvaro's name cleared, Dr. Dre begrudgingly allowed adventurers to start going out again.
And that actually brings us to one of the uh, one of the big things that we didn't touch on in the beginning. Um, One of the first things we did is we met up with a group of like giant type creatures. What were those people?
Goliaths.
Goliaths, and they are going to the Forge, which is what we were talking about. They want to do a expedition to the Forge, and they were looking for some help. And they were actually looking for the school wanted to go through with an expedition as well, but all expeditions were halted when this whole thing was going on, and so we kind of had to stop this whole thing happening so we could continue our expeditions and go to the forge because we want to go to the forge because we're going to make a few stops along the way. We also met a loving, sweet, sweet young man of a character, your best friend.
So let me tell you guys about Wyatt. So Wyatt is a half elf, and he is a student at the Magnus Exploratorium. He's a grad student. He's an absolute dick cheese. He is what Jared Kushner would be if he had any charisma whatsoever. Like, actually, that's not nice because I don't think he is like DC politician bad, but he's definitely got like trust fund
I don't
douche. Like,
I don't know who you're disparaging anymore.
he's. I'd like to think it's like if Hamilton and Burr merged into one being, it
Oh,
would be Wyatt.
so he's got all the like drive and everything to move up, and he's got that like real outspoken nature, but he's already has Burr's like money and position, but he's just not good enough and he wants more.
And he's not entirely polished yet. There's just something there's some stuff about Wyatt, and I really feel like it's his privilege, but I'm not entirely sure. That just makes me God want to uppercut him with my feet so bad. But I very stupidly told him about the chess set. So I was trying to
You gave him the
uh,
chess set at one point. You traded it, right?
I traded him the chess set for a favor or for something. I don't think it ended up panning out whatever I was offering, and um, he now is we're sort of co-parenting the chess set.
Co-parenting.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm he's taking notes while I play, and oh god, that makes him Jane Goodall.
Makes you the chimp.
I'll take it.
So we were able to clear the name of the school. We were able to get everything back and running, which brings us to the that was like that. I would say that was like the first couple of arcs, and that was like the main first story. Was we did a couple of those adventures, and then figuring out what was going on in the school, and I think that was the big first arc. If I'm
We also missed the most important NPC.
we haven't, I was going to bring him up, but
That's
yes.
while we were at the first tower.
Oh, that's right. That is while we were at the first tower. We met. You know those people. If you've had the luxury of going to college, some people haven't. But if you had the luxury, there's always that one person in one of your classes that is just like older than everybody else. And if you take the time to talk to them, 9 times out of 10, it's just a person who just keeps like they've never stopped taking classes. Like they started taking it and then they just kept doing it. That's Screebers. Screebers is our red kobold friend. Um, he has become the de facto mascot of the archivists, and he is he's our
Perfect.
yeah, he is perfect. He is our detect not detect identify buddy. He can identify magical items. But his he goes on a whole lot of trips. He goes on a whole lot of things. And the joke regarding Screebers is Screebers always survives. He is our canary in the coal mine. If Screebers is gone, shit's going down.
It was when we were introduced when we were told that if you can't see Screebers, something bad is happening. So we were asked, do we have to protect him? Like, we don't, kobolds don't live very long and they're not terribly hardy. And we were a little worried and we were told, no, no, no. If you can see Screebers, you're fine. When you can't see Screebers, then you know something's coming.
Yeah, then there's the issues. So
He also bakes an amazing pie.
surprisingly delicious. And so we brought him along on our journey as well. There's a large caravan, and we're setting out from Dorian's Dawn, and we are going just across the map. We're going all the way here, and then the map actually wraps around down here, and we're going all the way through here to try to get all the way over here. It's we've been told it's analogous to about a 3-month journey, and we're still on that journey now.
We don't have a map that actually has the Forge on it yet. The Forge. That's why y'all don't have it currently,
Yeah,
because we don't have
we
it.
don't have it. We ain't got it. I don't know. Where is it? I don't know. Um, so yeah. So as we went across, the first thing we ran into was we went to. I remember we stopped at Trubluff, and that's where we had the games, and that's where we got drunk. But we continued on our journey, and really, 4 Point Farms is where the next big thing happened, right?
Yep.
So 4 Point Farms, we as we were going there, we were finding out they were having a problem with creatures that were attacking. The first one was the bullets, right? Or was it the? I know it was the bullets, and then we had like the mechanical, like centipedes and snakes.
They were all happening at the same time, but I
Okay.
think our first fight was bullets.
All right. So the first fight we had was against bullets. Now bullets are like think of it like armored moles, almost a thing, really.
Or like giant armadillos.
Yeah, it's
Armadillos the size of an SUV
that
that can
travel through
jump
the ground.
straight up.
Yeah, that's if SUV-sized armadillos had a baby with the tremors worms, like that's what we're dealing with here. And so
Yeah.
we had a fight with them, and we noticed they had we noticed that they had like these little gems inside the heads that we were thinking were like controlling them. And after we talked with a few people, we found out that a gentleman had started appearing and said he could solve all the issues. Now, I don't know about you, but when a problem starts out of nowhere, and then I got a guy showing up equally out of nowhere who says he can fix these out of nowhere problems, there's a connection. Like I don't want to say it's always the case, but it's always the case, And so
And it was a traveling salesman, which is the worst.
yeah. So this guy was named Burns,
Professor Burns.
Professor Burns, and oh, we do have a question from Cole. What are some of your favorite moments so far in the campaign?
You go first.
um, hmm, I think so. One of the most fun moments for Sirach is when he actually let down his guard a bit and was able to have that moment with with Wyatt. Was a fantastic moment right before the canyon because Sirach he's not totally assured that Wyatt's the dick that he is, and maybe there's something else going on. And so we talked to him. We gave him a chance, and it was a really nice talk. He found out a little bit about Wyatt's motivations, where he he wants to be known for being Wyatt. He wants to be himself, not family shadows, and he's afraid that he's not going to do anything spectacular. He's not going to find anything magnificent, and that he's just going to be a regular person, and that kind of haunts him. And so that was a fun conversation. And then also being able to let my feathers down a little bit and talk with and like get drunk with Fable. That was a lot of fun. And then I think my other favorite moment is when Olaroon was trying to figure out how he was going to start like dropping hints to Treasure that he was interested, and he comes to Sirach and is like, "Hey, how do birds do it?" And Sirach's like, "I got you. Bet, let's do this."
I am still low key sad that that never came to fruition. Like I want Olorun to be happy, so that takes precedent. But oh man, did I want him so badly to just walk up and chicha to Treasure.
Wait. So I just yell at her? Yeah, right in her fucking face, man. Just yell at her. Oh my god! It also led to one of my favorite chat quotes of all time, which was I think it was Kaylin actually on the chat as we're going through, and she just goes, "Olaroon dot 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 dot. You tried to fuck a bird?" Like killed me. I was dead. Uh, how about you? What are some of your moments?
Um, so shocker, no surprise, it's a Saride Thosen moment.
Uh,
So Carlos and I, this poor man, he puts up with so much from me. He wasn't playing for a very long time because of work. So a lot of the stuff that happened for Saride and Thosen's relationship happened sort of off screen, were things that he and I had written together, or things that I had written and he had approved. Um, she had been pining for this man ever since she saw him like 2 years prior. And when she found out he was in the adventuring party, it was causing some vapors and some feelings. But um, so them like now that he's playing more often, getting to sort of navigate an adventuring relationship is kind of fun. But when he because Saraida's also already told him that she loves him. During the whole Olorun going around and asking because he asked everybody else like all these, well, how do I get him? And Saraida's like, well, just be yourself, buddy. Just talk to her. Like she went full on Wisconsin mom on him and gave him actually decent advice if I do say so myself. But she realized that even if you're as old as Sir Wright is, you kind of don't have a lot of time with people. So take opportunities that you have. And she went ahead and told him. She's like, yeah, I don't need you to say it back. That's not important. My love isn't fragile. It doesn't come at a cost. I just needed you to know. So when in game, when he made her the earrings for them to share, so that they always had
right.
something, and they're in each of her seasons. That was just very, very sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was just a really, really sweet moment.
That is a good moment.
Also, that one time we fought stuff and everyone was naked. That was pretty decent.
Wait, what?
Yep, that happened. So anyway,
wait, back up. What am I missing?
I was the last game.
Oh, the last game that I wasn't there for. That I still need updates on all of this stuff.
A lot of stuff happened because it was a Friday, so we went full Friday.
All right. So we're at 4 Point Farms. We're finding out all this stuff about the worms and the bullets, and so we decide that we are going to go ahead and we are going to find Burns and find out what's going on here because there's something going down. And so we find an overturned cart, if I'm not mistaken, that is believed to belong to Burns.
Yeah, like it had his name on it.
Yeah, because we were going around kind of to the 4 points, following the path that he took to try and find him.
And while it was even before we found the cart, we fought some of the metal creatures.
Yeah, the metal cobras and the metal centipedes, almost sort of things.
Yeah, because I keep wanting to call them Kruthniks. Actually, that's what they are.
You're thinking Kuthrix, which were the ants that we fought underground.
But those also came up.
But we didn't. The ants didn't come up, did they?
A little bit, yeah. I think. I'm pretty sure.
I thought they were stuck underground because that's a little bit further on with the biomancers.
That's all this.
Okay. So yeah, we're fighting these things. and we get over to the overturned cart, and we find near there, I believe it was near there, we find an entrance that goes down, and we follow it down into a laboratory-looking thing.
Now, I have a question for you, Eric.
Yes.
When we found the overturned cart, be honest, in your head, did you hear like the opening Discovery music from a Universal Studios ride?
Yes. A
You
hundred.
know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
No, 1000%.
Like, that's or like it was the opening strains of the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular when he's going through the temple.
Yep.
It's just
No.
that's all I
Uh,
heard when he was like, "So there's this overturn." I'm like, oh god, no!
I
John
mean,
Williams is in there telling me this is a bad idea.
like, if not every one of us didn't go in our heads, I've got a bad feeling about this. Like, I don't know what was happening.
But thank God we all have the good sense not to say it out loud.
um, yeah. And so we
But
went.
we go downstairs. We find this hella sick laboratory.
Mm-hmm. With a whole bunch. I actually wasn't there for this. I wasn't there for the laboratory fight. Because we find this laboratory, and then inside the laboratory we find.
Um, Sort of a modified version of Helmed Horrors
Mm-hmm.
that were
Animated
standing
armor
guard.
sort of things.
Yeah, that were standing guard. We did a couple of like exploratory runs, uh, just to sort of see what was going on. Um,
I remember because the first time down, you guys fought some biomancers, and
yeah,
Clever
so
Stitch almost frickin' died.
yeah, so here's the thing. So we found this lab, and we found Burns in it. Burns was purple, not like he had been choked out. Like that's just his natural coloring. He was a little weird, and he was in a
Like
thing,
it
like
was
a
almost like a weird restraint, like almost like in my head I imagined like those cryogenic chambers that kind of like go over and everything, and he had a bunch of like needles poked in him and everything.
bingo boingo. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out ways to get him out. We realize the control panel for the ground is up top in this little like observation balcony. So Stitch and I decide we're going to go up and try to open the cookie jar to get Burns out. And while we're up there, these biomancers show up, and
They ain't too happy.
no, they start turning stuff on. Um, Platforms start moving. They release a something. I'm not going to say a kraken because that's a real thing. Um, a small Daedra Godzilla that just starts wrecking us. Thank you. A mini kaiju,
Yeah.
if you will. Um,
Well, look, kaiju is specifically a giant monster. So a mini kaiju, that would just be a monster, right?
yeah, but it's a very specific looking monster.
Okay.
Yeah, I need you in a very specific tail headspace. You know what I'm saying? Saride bamfed down to go help the rest of the party. Um, totally thinking that Stitch would be fine in a stranger's observatory by himself.
What
And
could go wrong?
yeah, nothing to do wrong. Yeah, Treasure and Saride had this fucking awesome moment of girl power and friendship because they are besties, and no one was gonna hurt her tiefling. um, but in the process of it, the biomancer showed up and wrecked Stitch's shit.
Yeah.
So Stitch was making death saves. Cody was very nice and let us get to him in time, and we were able to save him. And we got Burns. So
We got
we brought,
Burns.
yeah, we brought him up. We put some clothes back on him. The more he spent time around us and in his clothes and around his things, he started to get more of his
Swag.
showmanship
Yeah.
back. Um, we found out that he was sort of a custodian for this waypoint that was a lab that had been used by, I will never remember. It's Quill. It's
Quill,
Quill.
yeah, the brothers Quill and Rin, the old gods, and we know that he was a deva. That was the term for him. He's a deva.
Yes.
But yeah, Quill and Rin. I know they made appearances back in the old campaign and
And a
limited
little bit in the
appearance
last
in the last
campaign.
campaign as well. But they are old, like not eldritch, but they are old gods.
They are essentially for our universe, they're kind of like our progenitor gods.
Hmm.
Yeah, they've created and destroyed and all of that. So this was one of their biolabs where they would experiment with evolution for species or creation of new species. Um, and Burns, he was kind of described to us like Doctor Who, that he would go through regeneration cycles,
Almost like that. Yeah, yeah.
kind of. And he just got tired of being there for millennia and
Yeah.
wanted to take a walkabout. So he set up the biomancers and had an emergency on a tripwire alarm essentially set
On
on
the
the
lab.
lab on the entirety of it, so that if any of the exteriors were breached, they would shut it down and start attacking anything that came into the lab. But these Kruthiks, these giant ass semi-sentient
Ant
ant
things.
people things, started their tunnels started coinciding with the lab, and they breached the lab, thus waking up the biomancers and the horrors and the this that and the other thing. And
And
the
that's also.
biomancers had released the iron cobras and had started fucking with the bullets in an attempt to defend the lab.
And also, if I'm not mistaken, they were having trouble coming up with ideas, and so they were actually stealing people from the farms in order to like get like new ideas or something. Or what am I thinking of? Because there was kidnapping. There were
Yes.
kidnappings going on.
Yes, they were. Because when the day was done, we finally convinced Burns, hey, buddy, maybe you need to do your job every once in a while, and then you can take a 15-year vacation. He was like, I don't want to. And we were like, we hear you, believe me, but maybe you do it. And that they would make a deal with 4 Point Farms, and anybody that, it's kind of like, those of you that did have the luxury to go to college, but it ended up being far more of a burden than you thought it was going to be. And you had to start selling blood and semen and eggs just so you could like make ends meet. Kind of like that. If there was anyone in the farms that needed some extra cash, they could sign up for some experimentation by elder beings in a totally clean and safe environment.
We also found out there was a one of the things, there was like this expanded time frame little pocket universe inside the lab that two of the biomancers wanted to go in. And so after we helped them take care of the Kuthrix, we killed a bunch of the ants. That was a necessity. And once we killed a bunch of the ants, we had to go and we went up to them, and we were trying to, as we were trying to discuss with them what we wanted Burns to do and what we wanted everyone to take care of. Some of them were like, well, we want to go into this thing. And since Burns didn't want to deal with these people, we were just like, look, worst case scenario, we put these two people in this advanced chamber thingy, and then we can kill the other two. Like, two's easier than four. That's all I'm saying. Like, math worked out that way.
Because there were supposed to be 5 of them, and we killed the one that had killed Stitch. So,
Okay, but like, warranted.
God, see, when you say it, it sounds terrible. At the time, yeah, let him go into the Pocket dimension. Yeah, fuck it,
Well,
let them go.
it's where they wanted to go. Like we were helping. We were helping them on a lifelong goal.
Because that's what the archivists are all about. We're about help.
Yeah. So we went
We do
ahead.
it for the vine.
Do it for the lulls. So we went ahead and we had Burns open up this slow as fuck garage door to this goddamn pocket dome dimension. Like I swear to God, you get faster garage doors in houses built in the 70s. Um, but he went ahead and he opened this door, and two of the biomancers were just kind of like, even that is moving a little too fast. Um, we went ahead and the two biomancers saw, basically think of like a Stargate like puddle entrance thing, and they were like, "Ooh, it's cold," and they went in. And then we're like, cool, they're in. Let's close the doors. And as we say, let's close the doors, a scene from everyone's favorite hentai happens, and tentacles just start shooting out from the stuff and starts attacking us. But we fight them back. We take everything down from there, and we send them. We Burns closes the door. It chops off some of the tentacles. We got it taken care of. And that's when we talked to Burns and we're like, hey, maybe, take responsibility for your actions and the things you need to. And once again, we were all naked. Uh, yeah, I,
Are we naked?
I don't think we were naked for that fight. Were we? Jeez. Um, but then after we finished up 4 Point Farms, we moved on from there. After we finished that up.
So we have a question since
Oh,
we've
oh,
gotten
we
to like
do.
a bit of a break. So what is an action your character took that you regret or you wish you could change?
That's a really good question.
I know mine. Um, when when we did the bullet fight at 4 Point Farms, that was the first time Philzen had been back in game for a while, and Sarai had spent the majority of that fight healing him and making sure he was okay. Um, and a lot of it is, yes, it's her boyfriend, but he's a priest and he's the only one of us that can cast Revivify if we die. So she was more about keeping him safe. But when the fight was over, she realized that Talroth and Treasure had taken far more damage than she had been aware, and felt remarkably guilty about it, that she was a bad friend, she was not doing her job. She had some very interesting conversations with the two of them afterwards. She still feels really guilty about it, actually. Um, yeah.
I think the only thing that Sirach at this point regrets is not not taking out Otto um, when we got to Nicobaris. Like we outnumbered them 2-1. He had already given us the potion. We were like, oh no, they're like, just knowing that we set like that sort of crazed evil back into the world without so much as a we gonna get you next time, like nothing. Like we that is one thing that Sirach's like, every person that suffers from that day on by Otto Weirdbottle is a person that that Sirach has let suffer, has let die, because we knew this guy was evil, we knew he was bad, and because we were looking for information and we planned on getting him later. We didn't. I mean, the plan was to get him later, but the fact that we didn't, like that sticks with him.
while.
uh, yeah, that's I think that's the heaviest. That's the heaviest Sirach's got on that plate specifically.
I mean, the good news is we haven't had any player deaths yet, and
Oh, thank God.
nothing remarkably traumatic um, has happened to the group. Like we're all still friends.
Hmm.
Um, we're all still together. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But moving on from 4 Point Farms, we went ahead and I think, and that was so it was when we were moving on that we found the weird tracks in the desert, and that Sirach went up to, and it turned out to be a bunch of like was that the with the battle carts for uh the hobgoblins.
Yes.
Yeah, so we found like weird tracks, and we saw like a weird mound and Sirach. And see, that's the thing. There's something about when a party gets to like level 5, level 6. I was talking with Cole about this. Like when a party gets to like level 6, they start to be like, we got this shit. Like characters are just like they're the I can't die anymore. Like we've got this. And I would be lying if I didn't say that I was in that mindset when I flew up to a random fucking encamp. Told everyone else stay back, don't worry. I'm just going to take a look see, and fucking like these hobgoblins come out like really well armored, and they see my swords, they see my armor, and they are trying like they want our stuff. They want my stuff. And when I tell them they can't have my stuff, they get a little bit angry, and we start doing like it was just friggin' it was like Mad Max Fury Road bullshit, like running away from battle wagons. Like it was terrible, but we got away from them.
I want you to know that there was a discussion happening in chat of whether or not we knew that something was wrong
Oh yeah.
or we heard, and we waged very carefully how much we like you and how much we like Sirach,
Oh my god.
and
Yeah, no, it
also how
was
much we don't want Kez to have to draw new art. That was really the
yeah,
clincher.
like I mean that was
So
it. No, it was that moment I was just like the moment he's like, "Why don't you step in here?" And I was just like, "Oh, I fucked up. Oh, I'm in trouble. Oh no. This went worse than
but
I
God
expected."
bless you still did it.
I got out. Like I got out. Like, and that was the thing. Like, thank God for like, because Sirach's got like his Misty Step. Sirach's got flying speed of 50, and so like between Misty Step and both of his flying speeds, like I can go 130 feet in a round, which is a long ways. And that helped. And then also when you saw me flying like a bat out of goddamn hell, that probably helped you figure out some shit was going down. Um,
Huh? Guess something's wrong. Ah,
can we clip an Eric Cocker's wings? Just wondering, no reason. Oh my gosh. But yeah, then that brought us over to here, um, which are these two passes across the Blood River. Is this?
Blood River, yes,
Yeah, this is the Blood River.
or Blood Gulch River.
Sorry, this is a lot harder to follow when you're not looking at it. God, now I know how every frickin' like weather person feels. Yeah, it's down here. You're gonna have a bit of a low pressure system. Like,
Yeah, see, that's the thing though, is they just do broad circles. You're getting very specific.
I was
So,
like,
so good on you.
yeah. So we could decide either to go to this north pass down here or the southern pass down here, and we chose the southern pass because we had heard rumors that in here laid a special something. Would you like to tell people what the special something was?
Dawnbringer!
That's right. It is Olarune's patron sword weapon person.
It's a
We had.
special tool we're going to use later.
I've seen so many of those jokes. Um, it's a guillotine. Oh, but it's a special tool we'll be using for later. Um, and so we went to this town, this little pass right here, and we found out that mountain range is actually called Velxer's Teeth. And through a little bit of talking, we found out that it is home to a beholder by the name of Velxer. Now, Velxer is very different from most beholders, because most beholders hate everybody else. Anybody else who's a beholder, non-beholder, like anybody who isn't them specifically, beholders hate. But this beholder wanted a family. And if that sentence doesn't quite make you barf, I don't know what will. Um, but we found out through talking with folks in the town that this beholder would take people and he would take people. He would try to figure out how to do family. Like, I guess, like he would play pretend house, trying to figure out, because he would make beholders, because beholders dream up new beholders, and that's how beholders come to be. And he would make them, but then they'd hate him because they're beholders. And so he was trying to figure out, well, maybe I'm being a parent wrong. And so he would kidnap people, adventurers, and he would force them into playing sick games to try to figure out how to be a family. And we met a character by the name of Affle the Awful, and he's like, "Look, I've worked with Velxer before.
You're not doing the voice right.
I can't do."
He's Batman. He's essentially Batman. We
Okay,
never
yeah.
saw that man without a hood, or we never saw, like, anything more than just this part of his face. And every time he talked, it was very Christian Bale.
Swear to me. Um, but he basically said, "I can get you up there. I
Because
can
he
get
used to work for him, or he
because
still does, for Belxer.
yeah, like sometimes he does, and so he's like, I can get you up there. I know about Dawnbringer. Dawnbringer's up there. The sword's up there. I can get you there. Um, but you need to get something for me. And he wanted it was like a black key or some. It was like black key.
A
The
black
Velks.
iron key that he wore around one of his eye stalks.
Yeah. Um, and he basically said like, you get that and we're golden. If not, you're gonna regret it. Like, that's my payment, and I get paid. Essentially, is what he was going for.
And he wanted all of the gems. There was a Velxer statue in the
In the
lower area where they kept Dawnbringer. He wanted all of the gems in the statue.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just like a punch at him or something. Um,
I want a cowboy boot full of only green M&Ms.
okay, Sammy Hagar, I understood. Um,
Thank you.
yeah.
It's the nicest thing anyone's ever called me.
um, and so we actually split into two teams again. We had a distraction team, which consisted of Saride, Treasure, Olaroon,
Thozen.
and Thozen, and then we had the infiltration team,
Extraction.
the extraction, which was Sirach, Talroth, Clever Stitch, and
Fable.
and Fable. God, why am I forgetting Fable every time? Jeez, just a terrible person, I guess. And so we so we take up two paths to this mountain, and this mountain is full of like magical glass essentially, and so like all of our armor ripped to goddamn shreds for us who were climbing up this backside of this mountain. You guys kind of went
But
up a front path, right?
we did.
Yeah.
Our armor was intact until we got in, and then some of us had a mishap, but that's okay.
So we had our I think the first game we played was actually the extraction team, and we went down. Yeah, we split off from Awful and Affle the Awful, and he went to the treasure room, and we kind of went to the armory where we thought the sword might be. And we went down a few levels, and we got him the gems from the statue, and we went down a couple of levels. And as we went down a couple of levels, we passed by a like it was almost like a dungeon. And so we passed by this dungeon. We got further down, and we found the sword, which was being held in the mouth of a hydra, which is never the phrase you want.
Seriously?
Yeah, like there was a hydra that held the sword in its mouth. And so we got close because we were doing pass without a trace and all that. So we snuck up, and we just started going to town on this thing. And I want to say it was Talroth, I think, who made the final blow on him. I want to say it was Talroth. I'm not 100%, but Sirach happened to be very close to the head with the sword, and so as it dropped the sword, Sirach was able to grab Dawnbringer, who then yeah, Cole's like, I blocked out the Hydra part. Yeah. Um, as the sword dropped, Sirach grabbed the sword, and it began speaking to him. And it was like, I must shine gloriously and shine bright. And I'm just like, that's great. I'm going to put you in this bag of holding. And the sword was like, you bet not. You better not.
Also, for the record, Dawnbringer is voiced by Dame Helen Mirren.
Yes, yes. And she is as ever so slightly condescending as Dame Helen Mirren can be if she wanted to be. And so what we did, Fable actually was able to craft a scabbard for the sword out of ice, and was able to put the sword in so the sword could still shine, but not quite as brilliantly. So we could, sneak our way back out. And as we were sneaking back out, we found a bunch of treasure chests, and we went bonkers. We looted the crap out of that. And then we got away. We were chased by a couple of trolls, but we, through some good rolls and the dropping of a weighted net, we took care of those guys. We slowed them down enough that we got out, and we got back. And I think that was all for our team. The next is your team, isn't it?
So let me tell you the story of how treasure fucked up a beholder's life.
And with that, I'm gonna peace out for a second.
Doodaloo, doodaloo. I had to recaffeinate. I apologize. So we went in the front way, and we so it was Saride, Treasure, Olaroon, and Thozen. So it's Saride, the talker, and the gentlemen and ladies who wear all of the heavy armor and can't stealth. Eric just went to go get a drink. Everything's fine. Or is it? Stay tuned and see if Eric returns. I don't know. I don't know. So we went in through the front. We were also fighting trolls. Velxer keeps them as guards and his buddies, because trolls can regenerate unless you burn them. So he's able to sort of take pieces off of them at will, because they can just grow them back. It gets a little. Ugh. So Saride cast comprehend languages. So while we were stealthing around, we could listen to the trolls. So we fought this first little batch. We made it. We got to the second batch, and they were talking about Velxer, but they weren't necessarily talking about fighting us. So Olaroon just sort of, and they threw a fried fish at us. Olrun caught it and took a bite out of it. And it really, like, all of the animals in the lake had like 3 eyes and they were all fucked up. So we ate this noxious fish and just said Velxer. So they, all right, fine. So they started taking us along to Velxer. There were a little bit of traps along the way, including Saride getting drenched in essentially peanut oil, and missing the jet of fire that came after that was supposed to burn her to a crisp. That covered all of her stuff in peanut oil. So I just stripped naked, and then we had to dress me in something else. So it was just one of Treasure's like shirts and shibari ropes, which is fine. My dress was so cute. So we make it to
Emphasis
Velxer.
on was.
Huh? Yes. So Velxer is, his mouth is full of sharp, jagged teeth, much like the obsidian shards in his mountain. And he was constantly running his tongue over the shards, ripping his tongue up, and then licking his mouth, covering it in blood like he was lining it with lipstick. If you get a chance, watch this episode, if only for Cody. It's some of his best work. His villains are always terrifying, but Velxer is especially breathtaking. Velxer is very intelligent, as all beholders are, and we tried chatting with him, and just because really all we were there was just, dangle keys in front of the baby. But we ended up not really having much that he was interested in. Treasure tried challenging him to a game of poker, but he intimated that she didn't have the deck of cards on her that he was interested in. She has a special deck of cards that she's been using to cheat Talroth with that are apparently a fate deck. And he could smell the magic on her. He would have been interested in playing with those, but she didn't have them on her. Also, he could smell the chess game on Saride, and he knows who she's playing with, but he didn't tell her. Just that he's someone to take seriously, which is great. He started to float away, disinterested with our lack of magical nonsense, so Saride offered him very sanely to play strip poker with their skin. So that he took up. So we played 4 hands. If we lost, he got to skin us. And if we won, we got to skin him, take something off of him. His eye stalks were covered in jewels and jewelry
Rings
and things like that.
Everything, yeah.
And one black coffee, one black iron key.
The funniest thing he could do at that moment. The only thing on the menu a child couldn't love.
Velxer's teeth. Velxer's teeth. Velxer's teeth. One black iron key. So,
John Mulaney, what a guy.
We played. Kez didn't roll a natural. She was the last one up. Treasure didn't roll a natural 20, but she damn near close did. And Velxer rolled a nat 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started breathing again, and the blood came back to my head. So I kind of missed like 5 minutes of the game, but we got the key. He told us to be careful, that there were 7. There was a 13. Oh no, 13. She rolled
a 13.
A 13 for a total of 20, and the die is retired.
Now.
As well it should be, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
That the key was a series. There were more like it, and we should be concerned with what it unlocks.
And that's the point where he found out that we didn't know what it unlocks. And he was like, "You don't even know what you're doing, do you?" And we're like, "Well, what are we doing?" And he's like, "Oh, buddy."
And that seemed to appease him enough, which is always a good thing when the big baddie's like, "Ooh, this is going to cause some fun chaos.
Yep.
Knock yourselves out, kids." Let's rethink our lives. We left. We took a little bit more time than the infiltration team because we didn't climb up the mountain. Um, so we met Affle, the Awful, midway. He had the carts and he had a speaking stone. So he let us know. We got in touch with the rest of the team to make sure we had proof of life, to make sure they were alive. And he wanted the key. There's something about him that really bothered me, and I didn't want to give it to him. So we finally, Olerin talked some sense into me, and we handed the key over. And that's when Cody did possibly the most evil thing he's ever done in game.
The
And he's done some stuff.
the worst. The worst thing
As
ever. Like, oh my god.
yeah, as Affle is walking away, he describes it thusly: that Affle, the Awful, and we all suddenly went, "Motherfucker, he's got the in his name."
Yeah, and it's one of those definite articles. The Awful, the Forge, the Spelljack. Affle is the personification, the embodiment of awful. And we just gave him an evil key.
You know, totes chill.
Yeah.
Also, while we were in Velxers, Treasure found out that the Nightcrafters have sent out
Bounty hunters.
bounty hunters for her. So she was a little bit on edge and maybe tried making a deal with Affle for more information, but thankfully she didn't. So that is the story of Velxer, and we got the sword.
Yes, we did.
And
We
then-
got Dawnbringer.
Yeah. So when we got back to, I cannot remember the name of this town.
Neither can I.
It's such a cute little town.
It's right there.
It really, it's like, oh god, whatever. We got back to town. Olerin got his sword,
And she started talking to him.
and they had a very interesting first conversation.
Which I was not there. Like, these next two games that I think.
Vlodenstravic, thank you.
Thank you. But yeah, I wasn't there for the next game, so I don't know like about that conversation.
Had to lubricate. So with Coke. Olerin is a really interesting character. All of us are really interesting characters. Let me start by saying, one of Olerin's big thing. We used to make fun of him in the beginning that he was the sad Kumon boy. Super gifted, very intelligent, very. He has a lot of potential and drive, and his parents, mainly his father, really want a lot for him and have been pushing him to be the one that gets Dawnbringer and to carry on the family paladining name and all of this. So he's had some very large grieves to fill and has been feeling a lot of pressure his entire life to become that man. And meeting Dawnbringer sort of augmented that pressure, but in a very different way. That Dawnbringer wouldn't accept anything less than valor, courage, upfrontness, and strength. That she wanted him to be the first person in the fray. She wanted him to be brave and not sidestep things. She didn't want him to be sneaky or shy or doubt himself. Now, instead of helping him to come out of his shell, she, as packed weapons or warlock patrons tend to do, they demanded it immediately, which didn't really help. There were moments during the conversation where Dawnbringer's voice sort of morphed into Olerun's father's voice.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
yeah, it was a real gut punch. It was great. Um, and yeah, but he has her now,
Mm-hmm.
and things were fine. So I'm pretty sure that's. Oh no, that's not. So we decided to have a shopping day while he was having the conversation with the sword, and Treasure um, set out some feelers for anyone that was looking for a night crafter.
And we found it
When
was.
she asked this little halfling guy,
Yeah.
uh, when we got back at night and she was set to meet her contact, showed up and told her that she was being followed by, I'm going to say it's not definite article. We asked.
Yeah.
We freaked out. We asked. Cody made sure. But they were referred to as like the Pale Death or the Pale
Mm-hmm.
Brothers. They were elven type brothers that were very
Mercenaries, right?
mercenaries.
Mercenaries.
Yep.
Yeah.
I immediately liken them to the albino twins from the Matrix,
Oh yeah. No. 100%.
because in my head that's what they would look like. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they have dreads, but
I mean,
um,
we don't know that they don't. So
I don't think we met them, so I don't think they do.
we did meet them.
We did. It was when we were naked. It was a fun night.
Oh,
Seashore
this
was
is the thing
there.
that I definitely wasn't there for. Yeah.
Yeah. We make excellent decisions in bike stores. Yes, we do. So yeah, but also since this gentleman had been looking around for information, they were bald. Thank you, guys. But since this halfling gentleman had been asking questions, his house had been burned down. So he was getting the F out of town before they came back for him.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to do the same. So when we parted ways from the rest of the caravan that's going to the forge, because we were entering this area of the map where we knew that there was word that Dawnbringer had been seen, and also um, the blade of the swords of House Oakenblade, which is Talroth's family, and
Mm-hmm.
his big reason for adventuring is he's trying to get back his family's sword and honor. So he
Honor.
we found out that they were there were these two locations that we had leads on that were pretty much in the same place. So we split from the regular party. We took Screebers with us and Raven, who is a necromancy alchemy student. She's remarkably dry and absolutely goth, and we would all die for her.
Yeah, yeah, she is. She because we brought her with her to the we brought her with us to the laboratory. That's what she
Yeah,
really
because
wanted
she
to
wanted to
see.
play in the lab, and then
Yeah,
we couldn't, and she got super pissed about it.
yeah.
Well, as pissed as you can when you're kind of monotone the entire time. We felt it in our hearts, is what I'm saying. So we traveled outward and onward, and whilst we were camping one eve, Stitch was the only one doing look out, and we got ambushed by phase spiders. They're giant spiders that phase in and out of planes.
Oh, Sirach would have loved that.
Good, because the rest of us hated it. Um, spook spooter, and that's the Latin name for them. is the spook spooter. We this was Friday's game, and for those of you that don't know, here at Random Encounters, Friday night gets a little bit raunchy. By a little bit, I mean yes, it does. So we'd never played Disasters in Danger on Friday, and we went tits out, as it were. So Treasure comes out of her tent at the sound of alarm, naked, not just not wearing armor, but completely nude as she sleeps. Talroth came out, I think, shirtless, uh, not one to be outdone myself. Um, Saride came out still in bondage ropes from
From an
an
evening of
evening of fun.
yes.
And Olaroon came out with the weirdest boner. And because now he's fighting with just all these fucking naked women. So we started fighting the spiders, which is harder to do than you'd think because they keep fucking phasing.
Yep.
But they were actually like tracking hunts animals for the Pale Brothers. Um, one of Jesus.
You're reading what Mars wrote.
Sadly, yes. Also, I take great offense to that. You know what? Saride is an attractive woman, and she was out there too. And
hmm
I'm just saying, someone could have
Yeah.
appreciated her as well.
Look, well, first of all, there was one person who was definitely appreciating her earlier, I'm sure. But the issue being for Olaroon specifically that you know, it's real. He's not going to go. God dang it! What is it? Are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Robinson? Not. He's not going to go that for you because you were his like teacher. So it's just like,
I'm just saying, he's also never seen her naked.
yeah, but like I don't ever want to see my fourth grade math teacher naked either. So like,
She's still cute though. Okay, you know what? That's not the point. I'm not arguing with this. It's fine. I don't
uh,
I don't need others' attention to make me feel wanted and appreciated. So the Pale Brothers are nothing to fuck with, kids. We're pretty sure they're Shader Kai.
okay.
Eric, can you explain that a little bit better than I can?
I'm gonna pull something up just to make sure I don't say something stupid.
Yeah, see, that was my, or Shadar Kai. I don't know.
All right, Shatter Kai. It's Forgotten Realms. Yeah, this is probably name. They also known as Shadow Fae. They were a race of shadow-like Fae connected to Shadowfell. They were believed to have originated as an offshoot of elves, associated with the Raven Queen, although other legends of their origins also existed, as well as Shadar Kai, who were connected to other deities and possessed and processes related to the Shadowfell. There's a quote
So,
from there's an old Underdark proverb that goes, "If you meet a Shadar Kai in the deeps, ask her for the dead drow's stuff. They kill."
so that uh, the fight was very intense. They almost got treasure off off the cuff. We were able to get her out of their chains and sort of get her back to fighting. Um, in the process, Olaroon was knocked unconscious, and his connection to Dawnbringer wasn't severed, but she wasn't pleased that he fell. And,
Bitch, I'm trying.
kind of. But she started having him attack at disadvantage because she was less than pleased. We all had a moment of, well, not really. We all kind of mentally had the moment of, Olaroon, fix your bitch. And we started looking around, finding what traces we could from them. We didn't kill them. We knocked one of them down. We thought he was dead, but they both sort of like shadow vanished. So we're pretty sure they've regenerated in the Shadowfell or wherever it is they are actually from for our world. And we think they're gonna be back. Um, we found some pieces about Shadow Fae and just more like culture stuff, which is kind
Yeah.
of interesting. The next day, like we had been traveling towards the sword for Oakenblade, and we took a. Oh, we do know about Fiance's treasure strike that, reverse it. Treasure's fiance,
Yeah.
because she had never met him. She actually ran before the wedding and never. It was arranged. She never got to meet him. He is a tiefling,
Okay.
and that's all I can remember. But
Good. Good.
we
Good.
were
Good.
we were not sure. We're kind of rooting for him to be like a gnome or something.
Just one of those weird like family marriages to set up a trade or something.
Yeah, yeah, and she just has to like they've got to give him like a 15 step stools just to be close
Just to
enough to
get
get
him to
her
get
hand.
by. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
he so we were sitting around having lunch, and Olerin, Cole, correct me if I'm wrong, tried to put her in the bag of holding, and she said no, and almost immediately personified herself. Like the sword became a person, almost, or just like that's what happened in my head anyway. He tried to put her in the hexblade pocket dimension. Even better.
Uh,
So here's a fun pro tip: if you're a warlock, your patron doesn't like being put in a corner and
Especially
shan't
because
be.
if you're thinking, only because I'm thinking about like how patron stuff works, because you have your packed weapon and it goes in a little pocket dimension for hex blades, but that pocket dimension is a dimension created by the patron, so you were trying to put it's like it's like an Ouroboros. It's like the snake trying to eat itself. Like, oh my god. Okay, so tried putting it in the hex blade and she did not like that.
No, she immediately erupted into Dawn, which is like, was it 60 feet column?
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Oh, the
spell, the
spell.
actual spell.
Oh shit.
We all had to make saves. Some of us did not do so great. And almost got daylighted to death. What the fuck?
Well then.
Although now that I sleep with blackout curtains, I fucking get it.
Mm.
So Olrun had a come to Dawnbringer conversation with her that if they were going to have a relationship, he was trying. Woman, I am trying. That he was trying his best. He'd been through some shit, and this wasn't going to be an easy fix for him as a person. And if she was going to be there with him, and he wanted her to be, that he is the man to wield her, and he wants to prove it to her and himself and everybody else. But she's got to be patient. And she said, "Okay, then if that's the case, if I'm your partner, then I'm not your patron." And she revoked his warlock levels, and he was able to take them as full paladin. So he's no longer bound to the hexblade, or bound to Dawnbringer out of obligation, but rather out of duty
Choice.
and desire.
Yeah.
Slightly healthier.
For queen and country, you know?
Sentient weapons always get a little weird.
Yeah. I think you have specific experience with that from earlier, yes?
I do.
Yeah. Friend.
Friend was nice. I liked Friend. Friend was my friend. She talked to me. No one else was. Like, I didn't have anybody. It was pretty dope.
I mean, look, I didn't. That was that was before I even got in that campaign. So yeah,
Yeah, I know.
all I
I
know
know.
was like slight mentions of friend, and that's all I got.
Friend, and then you heard mixtures of like doo doo doo, wah wah
Wah,
wah, and the
wah.
Kill Bill sirens, and I would just stare into the distance for a minute. My nose would start to bleed.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so, guys, correct me if I'm wrong in chat, but I think that's pretty much where we're. Nope, because Cody ended on the worst fucking cliffhanger for me. Anyway, we 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 got word that the sword for House Oakenblade is in the possession of the centaurs, which are in this particular area. So because the giant pillar of daylight just burst out of fucking nowhere as we were sitting around having lunch and then licking our daylight wounds, we heard the thunder of hooves in the distance as the centaur clan was coming to meet us. So when we start game next Monday, we'll be picking up with a chat with some horsey
Centaurs.
boys.
Hmm. We do have a few questions here. One question we have is, do you guys see bits of your campaign 1 character in your campaign 2 characters?
Well, no, kinda. There's stuff that I always put with my characters for D&D, um, because it's a choice, because it's me. I don't know if any of you guys know that I'm like hypersexualized. It's super weird. I just love talking about it all the time. But
You?
um,
No.
I know.
That's weird.
But I really like all my characters to be very sex positive, whether they're active or not, because it's something that I don't think gets displayed a lot for women in media. That
Hmm.
women enjoy sex and in all different kinds of ways
Wait,
without,
is that
and
true?
do it without being necessarily branded something derogatory. So like Saride is the same as Maddie and Winnie before her, and Lucy, like all of them. She's just not as overt about it.
Hmm.
But I think that's the only thing, really. I can't. There's not much else of Maddie that's in here.
Okay.
Well, the rack that don't quit, but
Well, yeah, yeah. Well,
at least Sarai's, they're higher and tighter, and they both point the same way. So
we're not walking around like this.
no.
Poke an eye out. Um, let's see. You know what? It's started creeping in a little bit, and I'm trying to put a rein in on it. But I know that, and it's a me thing. I like to talk situations out, and I like to try to like finagle a diplomatic solution out of things. And so there have been times where like with the hobgoblins where a little bit of Rothgar was like, "Let's talk this out. We can talk." Like a little bit of Rothgar came into that, and I was like, "Oh no, 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 no,
I
that's
was
not."
feeling that would happen.
Yeah, like because that's something Rothgar would like totally be like, I can talk to these people, these these people. I can talk to these people. Like that's but and so that was a little bit there, and so I've been trying to be a little bit better about that because I know that's something I like to do a lot, and so I've been trying to. And with Sirach, I'm trying like I've never played a ranger before, so I'm trying like something completely new, and that kind of like snuck in a little bit, and I was just like, no, 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 that's not really his character a little bit.
But it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, but I don't know if it betrays like growth or it betrays me kind of slipping back into an old habit. So I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, and I
Yeah,
don't hate it.
yeah.
Not
Um,
being a murder hobo, not the worst thing in the world.
yeah, I'm not going with murder hobo, but like he probably like because I remember like right in the beginning he was real scared and he was real skittish, so he's probably like he probably in the event where he's surrounded by like a very well armored hobgoblin and all of his hobgoblin friends, his initial reaction wouldn't be let's talk my way out of this. His initial reaction should have been run.
Maybe he's a fawn when he's scared. Who knows?
Yeah. We also have another question. Cole, what do you want to see in this campaign going forward?
No, I'm not going to do that because I say it. Cody's going to hear it, and he's going to do something weird about it. He's going to monkey paw that shit. He'd be like, "What? I thought this is what you asked for." So no, I don't like I. This is something that I am excited for. I don't know that it's necessarily what I want to see. I'm excited to find out who I'm playing chess with,
Hmm.
and I know that it's going to be something big and draconic. But I am excited for that.
I am excited along the same thing. I don't want to go like, where do you want to see this campaign going forward? I am excited because I'm excited to see uh, what finally comes of the whole um, Star Song group and the teacher, the antiquities teacher, uh,
Volton.
Volton. Like I know that shit's not done, and I know there's something bigger going on there, and I feel like it's going to connect with the lizard people and the adamantine there a little bit. Like there's something here, and I look forward to when like when the questions start getting like little more hints that we can kind of sink our teeth into a little bit.
One of the things that I really like about our group is how odd we are as a group of saviors. Do you know what I mean? Like last campaign, we were definitely set up to be revolutionaries and blah blah blah. And
Yep.
this is our path to that is to heroism, I guess, is a little less straightforward, which I really enjoy. And the moments for everybody in the group having moments of growth, of change, these opportunities. You know, if you look at where we started a year ago, but with these characters and where they've how far they've come,
Hmm.
it's not it's not leaps and bounds, but there's such nice subtle changes, do you know?
I do.
And I don't know, man. Like I'm really excited to see where we go from here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited for this next year of gaming.
I'm
And
terrified. I'm absolutely terrified.
look, I mean, D&D, it's something I've loved for a long time and I've loved playing, and I've even DM'd once, and that was ridiculous amounts of fun. And well, twice because I also got to DM on stream with the Wendy's game, and that was stupid fun. I can't even say that. Um, but I it's been so good being able to be a part of this group and being able to play and um, like be a part of this like really expansive story that Cody's putting together, and it's super fun every time, every game.
Even when it's terrifying, and even when it's a little tense, it's still really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, and that comes from the work that Cody puts in, the work that we all put in. I mean, the art that Kez does is fantastic. The yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I mean, the ability to go with like each of the people we play with, the back and forth that is available, and everyone's ability to, yes and this bullshit and like just go with it. And it's a really great group of people. It's a really great story, and I'm glad that we get another year of being able to tell it.
same. Hard same. Um, do you guys have any more questions?
Yeah, if there's anything else you want to know, don't be afraid to throw that in the chat. We'd love to answer
So,
questions.
so going forward, we're going to be doing this once a week,
Hmm.
sort of like a Talks Machina, and we'll be interviewing people from who played this week, or the week
The week before,
prior,
yeah.
prior, and we're really excited to get to share some of this behind the scenes stuff with you guys. All right, last question from Kiz.
Hmm. What's
What is
a?
a fun
Oh,
fact
sorry.
about your character that folks may not know? Say it.
All right.
Doesn't have to be a spoiler. It could just be something. Ugh.
No, it's. I mean, I guess the fun fact is that um he so he really wants to get back to the elemental plane of air, but like it when you say get back, it denotes like familiarity. He's never been. He's got no idea what it's like. He just knows stories from like his grandparents have told, like great grandparents have told, the parents have told, and so he knows that there was some sort of event, and that's why he's not there anymore. but he's never been. And so like there's a, he wants to go because he's like, that's been my whole thing, but he's also like, do I want to go? Like, I know I want to go because I'm told I want to go, but do I want to go? Like, he doesn't know, but he knows it's his journey. So
We are dealing with far more parent issues in this game than I originally gave us credit for, which is great because they snuck up on us, I think, and like they weren't remarkably overt. Like no one showed up. They're like, "Hello, I have daddy issues." Like you know what I mean? Like even Olrun being like, "Yeah, my dad kind of pushed me into this," and it never was. I never pegged him as, "Aw, sad daddy boy." You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
Like
No, I get that.
it was just a tile in the pain mosaic that is Olrun.
That is Olaroon. What about you? What is a fun fact someone might not know about Saride?
I based her parents off of characters from L5R from
Legend of the
Legend of the
Five
Five
Rings.
Rings. So because she's from the Elegant Tower, Shea Landir, which is the Tower of Roses and Thorns,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is also the Fenner, my family's family words. So,
Okay, there you go.
um, but yeah, her mother was a courtier, so she was a rose, and her father was an assassin and a spy. He was a thorn.
There you go. That's
And
some fun.
that's how she learned how to heal. Was her dad? They figured out very early on that she didn't have a lot of aptitude for fighting, but he would show her how to put holes in people and then how to fix them,
Okay.
which she also knows for torture purposes.
I mean, beat him and treat him, you know?
How do you know what was happening in the tent that night?
you know, I had a feeling, Sirach's got pretty high perception. Did we and this is something I never did we level up at the end of that night? At the end of
We
that game?
did.
Oh, so now my perception is going to be so so I'll say this just cuz we're doing level up stuff then. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to be taking a feat for cuz this I think this is this a skill increase? I think it's a skill increase. And if it is, I am going to be taking the observant feat, which so it gives me a +1 to wisdom, which bumps my wisdom up to a 14 from a 13. But the best thing is it ups my passive perception by like 5, and I already have like a 15 on passive perception, so it's going to be a 21 passive perception by the time this is done, and I think that'll be fun.
You finally beat me in Telroth.
I tell you, I'll just be right there. I'll be right up because you guys are both 18s, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Unless he's changed
yeah.
with this level up, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that Trixie Elves is doing. Because I think he's multi-classing, but I'm not entirely sure.
Oh yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out.
Well, he's rethinking it now. So.
Look, you don't have to be the most perceptible. Yeah, perceptible person in the party. You know.
Perceptive?
Oh, I'm sorry. You meant the actual English word for what I was trying to say? Yes, that works too.
Perceptionist.
A person who just wholly goes around being perceptive, and that is their he's the
Isn't that
perceptionist.
what you are when you're taking watches? You're the perceptionist.
I don't know if that's the actual word, but I'll take it.
It is now.
Okay, first perceptionist. All right. Sounds like
So
the
may it
weirdest.
be. Okay.
It sounds like the weirdest addition to the Bible. And now we will read from First Perceptionist.
The spook spooters.
The spook spooters as they phased into existence. God damn. But yeah, we are going to be bringing this back every week, probably a couple of days after the show. So usually the show's on a Monday. We'll probably do this on like I don't know, like a Thursday or something like in the middle. And just go over and as Megan said, we'll bring people on. We will talk with them about like things they did, what they're thinking. Um, and talk about what went on in that week. So if you missed the show, you can kind of go there and get some backstage stuff. And yeah, but this.
And if you're on our Discord or if you follow us on Twitter, which you should be doing anyway because
Hmm.
it's awesome, or on Instagram or anything, message us, tweet us,
Oh yeah,
and if,
questions.
for any questions or anything that you want answered or anything you'd really like to know about, let us know. Let us help you. Help us help you. What info do you want and all that nonsense?
That nonsense. So,
But I think this was a nice wrap up.
I do too. I think it was a real good start, a real good first episode. Hope you guys liked it, because we're going to be doing it again. Uh, and yeah,
Yeah.
I think
But
that's
thank
going to
you,
be it.
Eric.
Thank you, Megan. Hey, how you doing? And thank you guys for showing up. We will see you guys. So not this Thursday, but next
Monday.
Thursday or Friday. So we'll see you on Monday when we have our new game. Oh God, how does Cody? How does Cody? But until next time, stay cool. I did it. I did the thing. All right, now keep waving. I got to find out how to stop this thing.